Hi everyone, Trace here. So the latest MayMay Made It Design Team Challenge is how many cards we can make out of one paper pack. And I have this paper pack, A Perfect Christmas by Lori Whitlock. It's gorgeous paper. It's 12 sheets with one sticker sheet. And I am going to shoot for 200 A2 size cards out of this one paper pack. This is going to be a 2 to 3 part series, and this is the first part is where we're going to do all the preparations. We are going to cut the card bases. We're going to also cut the card fronts. We are going to cut up all these beautiful sheets of paper, and we're going to stamp some sentiments and some images. All the preparation to get these cards done. So let's get started. So we're going to start with cutting up all of our card bases. I have here an 8.5 by 11 65-pound cardstock. So the first thing you're going to do is cut that in half on the long side at 5.5. So now you have two. Now we're also going to score it so it's nice and crisp with a score line there at 4.25. And while it's in the scoreboard, I like to square it up and crease that down nice. Go ahead and do the second one. Score that. And crease it down. Okay, now we have all of our card bases made. And this is quite a lot of cards. There's 200 cards here. Yeah, that looks like a lot of work, but it's really fun. And there is the 200 cards. Next we're going to move on to the card fronts. So for the card fronts, the measurement is 4 by 5.25, an 8.5 by 11 65-pound cardstock. So you want to start by, on the long side, cut that at 5.25. Creating two, and then we're going to cut it at 4. We do have these little scraps left over. We are going to use those, so don't throw those away. We're going to use every little bit of paper we can possibly use for this project. 200 cards. That's a lot of cards and a lot of paper. So we created 4 card bases, card fronts, and we have the scraps left over. How I'm going to organize this project is every sheet of paper or scraps that I use, I'm going to put them in a little Ziploc bag just to keep them sort of flat and ready to go. I'm using the gallon size Dollar Tree Ziploc bags. So here are the card fronts. Lots of those ready to go. On to the next step. So next we are going to start to cut up our sheets of gorgeous paper here. I did have to, for myself and for y'all, come up with a template for cutting these papers. There are several sheets that I'm going to be cutting the exact same way, and I will show you that. I will have this available to see with all the measurements, just to help you if you want to go ahead and accomplish 200 cards. But it did take a great deal of math and brainstorming to come up with measurements that I can do as many cards as I can possibly make out of these one sheets at a time. So we are going to use that. So I went through every page of this paper and decided, and we will use this front page because there's a lot on here I can go ahead and use and cut each strip. Those are going to be great. So I decided with this one and this one and this gorgeous, gorgeous paper and that, because the patterns are the same, you know, as far as we can cut it up into small pieces, that's fairly easy. Then I kind of stopped here because the other pages will be a little bit more challenging to cut up, but I will go over those sheets next. I will start with these sheets first and start to cut this. This is just the front. Okay, we're going to start cutting. It's so hard to actually cut into this paper because it is so pretty, but I can do it. We're going to cut off this barcode strip here. We don't need this. Make sure. And I have a little slice left. More to cut off there. That's better. And on these little strips there are some pattern here, which, you know it, we can use that definitely. So don't throw that out. So for my template, my first cut will be at 2.5 inches. So go ahead and straighten that out. That's my first one. I'm going to put that aside. According to my template, I'm going to make 4 sections of 2.5 inches. And of course this is just what I came up with, but you can definitely do some math and thinking through and come up with your own template for each sheet. And of course you don't have to do as many as 200, but it is definitely fun to think of that. So we have those pieces and this extra piece, which I have reserved for one of the cards. So then the next section is a 1-inch section. A 1-inch strip. I'm going to do one at a time. So this strip is cut at 5 1/4. And we have this small little section, which of course we have plans for. So put those aside. My next section is another identical 1-inch strip. And that is cut 5 1/4 as well. So we have 5 of those sections that are identical. So I'll go ahead and cut that and be right back. So I have cut into that one, the first sheet of paper. There are 27 pieces that I have cut, and I will do the exact same cut with these sheets of paper, and these are an additional 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, 6 sheets. Yeah, so before I move on to the next sheet, I do want to, and if you want to count this as a piece too, that will be 28 pieces altogether for that one sheet of paper. And I will most likely get more out of this section, because this I'm going to use for some punches. So I do want to individually, for each sheet, I want to put it in its own bag, so I can keep it very organized. And so that's what I'm going to do, and I will be right back. So I have 7 bags here with all of my pieces of each sheet of paper. That's a lot of cutting, a lot of little pieces of paper. So the next thing, this is the sticker sheet. I'm going to put that aside. That'll be at the end. So these are the ones that are a little challenging, only because they have such pretty sayings and sections here. There's this one, that one, that, and this, and this. I'm going to go ahead and start with this one here. So what I'm going to do with this one is, the back is gorgeous too, but all of these really can be used for card bases. Yeah, for card fronts. The size is really perfect. I am basically just going to cut along the lines. There's a couple of them that I'm not going to use, but because I do like this side and I could do a lot with this side too. So I am not going to use this one or this one. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it as it is here. So the last page that I just cut up has 12 sections and the barcode piece. So that's put aside. Next is this section, this sheet of paper. I can really only use 2 of these images because this is my card front, and that fits well, that fits well, that does not, that does not, that does not. Possibly this one here will. So I'm going to cut it in half and probably use that as strips, but I am going to use this side. So that sheet has 13 pieces and 3 small little pieces, and also the barcode strip. So this sheet is beautiful, and I like the other side as well. So I'm not going to use this and this. This section is beautiful, and this one, these two, I like that one a lot. Possibly that one, because I do want to utilize some of this. So I'll go ahead and cut that and let you know how many little bits of pieces I come up with. So that sheet, I have 18 pieces. Next sheet is gorgeous for tags, but the challenge is for only A2 size cards. So these tags won't work for this challenge, this project, but there are parts that I am loving, and so this section here will make a great front. This here, and basically though, possibly that one there, but anything with the to and from will not work. So I do like the other side, and that can be used into strips easily enough, but there are some images that I really like. I'm going to try to save some of those images too. This one here, this sheet is going to be a bit of a challenge to cut up, but still fun. I'll let you know how many pieces. So that sheet has 30 pieces, and what I'm going to do, a lot of them I capped with the to and from. I am going to use a different sentiment or stamp and cover up that to and from, but the rest of it I really liked, so yeah, I'll just cover that up. So that had 30. Now I have one more sheet to go, and this one here, the back side is not as beautiful as a lot of the other sheets, but it's usable. And these have great sentiments, but some are just too long for the card front, and some will just fit. So I'm going to use this little section and this little section with the sentiment. I really like this part. I will go ahead and cut that out to fit, and possibly that there. And the rest of it I'm just going to make into 1-inch strips, and so I'll let you know how many. So that sheet there came to 30 pieces, as well as the one before that. The very last thing I have to go ahead and cut up is the front page, and that's easy enough. These are going to be nice little strips and some images. So I got 31 pieces out of that front cover, and I was brainstorming a bit to see what I was going to do with them. I may go ahead and decorate the insides of the cards with coordinating pages from, whatever I use on the front. I may use this on the inside. And these two pieces are some of the arch that was created at the front. One was on the bottom, one was on the top, so I'm going to put those together with a strip in between of some kind of sentiment. I think that'll kind of coordinate very nicely together. So let's move on to the next part. Everything is cut up. We are going to stamp out some sentiments. Okay, so I'm doing a lot of stamping at one time. That way I don't have to, keep stamping and stamping. These are just some sentiments that I really like and will go with my designs. I am doing 20 different designs, 10 cards of each, bringing it to 200 cards. So when I'm stamping them out, I'm stamping out 10 of each, and if they don't stamp as well as I like, I will stamp it again. But I'm doing this ahead of time just to make it easier. What I'll do is cut these out when I'm ready for them, and I can either space them out onto the sheet so I can maybe possibly banner the sentiments if I want to, that kind of thing. So I went ahead and stamped out many pages and some images as well, and some sentiments just ahead of time. Love this reindeer, he's so cute. And some Merry Christmas. And again, I will be making 10 of each of these 20 designs. And the green paper that you see on these, this is just a little sample type. I have my measurements written out and things like that. But the green paper is representing the actual designer series paper that we'll be using for it. So this is the first one, and second one, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 is the just actual cutouts that I've, the larger pieces of cutouts will make as its own card. So that are all the designs. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. In the part 2, we'll start to put it all together. Thank you so much. Have a great day.